Welcome to Monday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. Good morning, good morning. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to start your day. And I've gathered stuff around me here that I think is going to assist us in creating a mindset to move forward that helps lift us out of some of the heaviness and darkness that a lot of people are feeling lately. I had a coffee date yesterday with two friends who I have not seen in several years, and it was nice to catch up, and we noted how we were putting effort into returning our conversation to hope and positivity and stepping away from the ain't it terrible, horrible, awful, which I think serves all of us. And so we've got an interesting card today, which I think kind of fits in with all of what we're going to be talking about. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome. You're the first one popping on this fine Monday morning. Glad you are here. There's Gwen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And I also wanted to do one of my little public service announcements for a book I'm reading that I think is a lovely opportunity to see a different way of doing things and to good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Glad you're here. My counter is still saying 0 and I've already said hi to 3 of you. Yeah. So the distortions of reality, right? So this particular book, I think if you're feeling disheartened, this would be a lovely book to help you see that in the broader perspective, the world already knows how to do this stuff. The world already knows how to create a much better circumstance for all. And now it popped up one person. Whatever. So the book is The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And if you haven't read any of her stuff, Braiding Sweetgrass, she's got a book on mosses that I found fascinating. But this one is about the serviceberry. And when I owned the motel in Rapid River, Michigan, we had the serviceberries lining the back of the property. So the subtitle is Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World. And she's talking about how we can learn from the plants. And good morning, Joe Neal. Glad you're here. And get a sense of how do you do this reciprocity thing? How do you level the playing field? How do you create community? And she's talking about everything from the serviceberry to the birds to the trees to other plants and how they work together, and indigenous ways, how indigenous people had a mindset that allowed for the proliferation of abundance. And let me see if I can find the one page, because I read it yesterday. And there's beautiful little drawings in here that are, and it's a little book. It's a little book. Oh, before I forget, some of you who still have brain cells that rub together, can you remind me the name of the book? The women I was talking to yesterday, good morning, Beth, glad you're here. I wanted to share with them because we were talking about instilling hope. And one of the books that for me instilled hope was that little bitty book, and it was written by a man named Matthew, and I always want to say it's Matthew Kelly, and I don't think that's right. But it was that little bitty book that was a shared opportunity. So when you ordered the books, he gave you 5 or 6 books for free. You just paid for shipping, and then you handed them out to people. And he was talking about there being 18 iterations to get the vast majority of people understanding this principle. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. And sharing it. Anybody remember the title of that? It's a little bitty book. I want to say it's 2 words, and I want to say I just can't pull it, but I think his first name was Matthew. And I did several rounds of handing out those books, and I can't find mine. Of course, the stacks are pretty tall. Can't find mine. But if any of you remember what the name of that book was or the author, Matthew, it's like right on the tip of my brain and it just won't tip yet. So I think what I'm going to do, let's hold this for the moment. Hold, please. And we'll read our card, and then I'm going to go back and read this part of the book because I think it's a lovely adjunct to this card. So it's the Lightseers deck, and when I saw that it was the Lightseers deck, I'm like, oh boy, here goes my eyesight again. When I got this deck, I'm like, oh, this is cool, a little mini deck, but it's little mini words, and sometimes it's a bit of a strain trying to see them. I will do my best. So the card came out right side up. It's Queen of Pentacles. I like the branches sticking out. Holy moments! Matthew Kelly it was! Yay! Thank you, Carolyn! One more thing off my brain. Good. Now I can let them know. I knew it was 2 words. I could almost see it in my brain. I could see the cover of the book. Just couldn't pull it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, see the little branches sticking out from her headdress? Good morning, Angie. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So, I've got about 5 different conversations going on in my head. The joys of ADD, right? Good morning. Thank you for the sunshine. I appreciate it. So let's see what she has to tell us. Came out right side up. So the Lightseer side. A healer, a working parent, a self-made person, material wealth and abundance, strength in family and community, a kind and nurturing heart, groundedness, being down to earth, generosity. Now, one of the things I want to point out, and my friends and I were talking about this yesterday, is focusing on the and. My accountability buddy, Kayleen, and I, that was something we were practicing when we were meeting regularly. That was something we were practicing was and, not either or. We've been so steeped in the either or, we need to move to and. And so these kinds of things, material wealth and abundance, and strength in family and community, and a kind and nurturing heart. They are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. There are people out there who do amazing things with the money they have and the resources they have and the connections they have. It's what we choose to do. It's not an either or. It's not all people who have money are bad. No, 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 no. Let's look at the and, all right? So that's the Lightseer part. A healer, a working parent, a self-made person, material wealth and abundance, strength in family and community, a kind and nurturing heart, groundedness, being down to earth, generosity. Now we'll read the Shadow Seer side because we want to be able to look at our shadows. We want to be able to sit with our shadows, walk with our shadows, understand our shadows so that we can bring them into the light. Rather than keeping them stuffed off in a dark place where they're still operating, they're still having an impact, but we may not be as aware of it, bring them into the light. Let's see what we can do with this. So the Shadow Seer side, financial stress, being self-absorbed, smothering others, helicopter parenting, overindulgence, work-home imbalances, and materialism. So, now we're going to talk about her. This self-made queen reminds you to step into abundance by shifting any shadows you are holding on to around wealth and security. That could be the I don't deserve, that can be the if I have wealth and abundance, I must be a jerk, that can be all kinds of stuff. You know, it's holier to be poor, all kinds of beliefs that don't serve us, okay? You are safe. That's the only part of this whole reading that's in italics. You are safe. Pay attention to your finances to level up your money game and give yourself permission to rise into the upper ranks. This affords you more options. When you have money and other resources, it affords you more options, including options that will be of assistance to others. This is a positive message of creature comforts and happiness, and this earthly medicine ushers in a life well lived in the material world. Connect to nature to find your calm, healing, and rooted power. And harness the abundance that's available to you by bringing groundedness to your situation. Shower others with warm blessings from a charitable heart, as loyalty, family, and community are themes at this time. Your nurturing and down-to-earth approach will gift stability and support to those in your life. How many of us couldn't benefit from more feelings of connectedness right now? Don't overextend your energy and avoid enabling others by over-mothering them. They must learn to walk on their own. We infantilize people when we help to the point of fixing for them. Support their efforts to fix for themselves. Support their efforts to walk their own path. That's a much better use of our time and energy. Bring your self-worth and guidance and your glorious, powerful love. And the affirmation is, I enjoy my deeply connected life, and I lead it with an outpouring of warmth, abundance, and love. So that's today's card. And to add to that, I'm going to show you the back of this. There we go. Just love the drawings. All flourishing is mutual. And I'm trying to remember who said it. It might have been Jim Rohn. But the gist of it was, in order to get what we want, help as many other people get what they want and what they need, etc. But this little part here in the book, it's page 64 if any of you have the book. So she says, there are guidelines for the honorable harvest. Honorable harvest is we'll call it a lifestyle, a method, a way of approaching the gifts that the natural world offers us. And she says, they're not usually written down. They are reinforced in small acts of daily life. But if I were to list them, they would look something like this. Know the ways of the ones who take care of you so that you can take care of them. So it's creating that reciprocal relationship. If I'm going to harvest branches from a pine tree for a Christmas decoration, thanking that tree, maybe putting down some tobacco before I harvest, and doing it in a good way. And there's more here that will spell that out. But I take care of the tree takes care of me. Introduce myself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for a life. When in the past indigenous people would hunt, they would thank the animals that offered themselves for food. Whole different way of doing things than we tend to do things, right? I see you, I kill you, I eat you. Ask permission before taking. Abide by the answer. So as I learned these ways, there were times when the answer was no. And so then you leave it alone. Never take the first one, never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only that which is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. So like the wild blueberries that grew behind the motel, the birds would eat them, the other critters would eat them, there were black bears that would eat them, and I would take some, leaving some for others, not stripping everything bare. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. So rather than cutting off a branch and shaking the berries off of it, you pick them individually, right? Seems like it's logical, doesn't mean that's how everybody does it. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you have taken. Do you remember all the quotes about how much food Americans waste? We buy stuff, we leave it, gets shoved to the back of the fridge, we throw it out, we don't eat leftovers, blah, 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 blah. Share. Give thanks for what you have been given. Give a gift in reciprocity for what you have taken. Again, if I put down tobacco and I take some berries, there's a reciprocal relationship there. If I water the plants and then I harvest, there's a reciprocal relationship there. Sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever. So, were we to follow those rules, more of us, and more frequently, things would begin to shift, don't you think? So, start small. Start small. For instance, if you don't recycle, start recycling. If you throw a lot of things away, start donating them. She talks in here about a farm stand that was put out by the road, and the woman put out not only a bazillion zucchini, but glass mason jars with gladiolas in them, because her gladiolas were producing prolifically. So yes, thank your garden for giving you the vegetables. When you have extra vegetables, see if neighbors need some vegetables. Put some in the blessing boxes at various places. Give opportunities to share and receive, right? A barter system. A barter system can be incredibly helpful. If you will help me get my website up and running, I will give you X number of free coaching sessions. I've done that frequently. Right now I've got a couple of barters going with people who have skills that I don't have, and I have skills that they don't have, and we share our skills with each other. It's lovely. It's a different way of being. She also talks in the book about when people violate those rules. So in fact, at the end of the season, with one of the vegetable giving opportunities, it said something like free food stand or something along that line, and the food stand disappeared. They went to take it down at the end of the season and store it in the shed, and the food stand had disappeared. And so they kind of laughed a little bit about, well, it said free food stand, maybe someone misinterpreted, but that when people violate that process, it messes up the flow. How do we honor the flow of what's intended there? So, just some things to think about today. I'll show you our Queen of Pentacles again. And are there some ways that you can step more into material wealth and abundance and the sharing of that with others in need in ways that empower them? Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. So, some things to think about, some things to talk about. Have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.